And now to President-elect Trump holding a marathon hour-long presser, his first since winning re-election. And in classic Trump form, he was making deals in real time, literally negotiating with the CEO of Japanese investment powerhouse SoftBank, who had just promised a $100 billion investment into the American economy. Watch here.
I'm thrilled to announce that SoftBank will be investing $100 billion in America.
We were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double down is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion instead of he'll make it $200 billion investment.
He is a great negotiator.
That's so great. And the Trump media feeding frenzy is back. The president-elect taking question after question. I counted 33. Here he is sparring with reporters.
The administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. We're bringing business back, and they're all coming back. We lost them over years of stupidity. A golden age of America, I call it. It's begun.
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points.
Are you entertaining the idea of preemptive strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities?
Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? I don't want to insult you. I just think it's just not something that I would ever answer.
Do you want RFK Jr. to revoke any vaccines?
No, I want him to come back with a report as to what he thinks. I think you're going to find that Bobby he's a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational.
The press is, Jesse, finally going to be able to put on their running shoes and get ready because with Biden, they haven't had to do anything over the past 6 months, maybe even a year, right? He hasn't done that much. And if you look at the split screen between what Biden did at the DNC annual Christmas party and then Trump, it's like a tale of two cities. You have a tent that's growing and people are jumping on board. And then people are jumping overboard on the Democratic side, and it was sleepy and filled with regret and sadness.
A lot of shrinkage, you may say, on that side of the table.
I might say.
So, do you remember how venomous the questions were when he was president? It was just an accusation. It wasn't even a question. It's like, are you a traitor or are you a racist? Mm-hmm. I detected a lot more respectful policy questions this time, and I hope it continues. Maybe they were all Breitbart reporters. I don't know. But I liked the tone. So let's keep that up. The SoftBank thing was genius because SoftBank, it is the largest venture capital firm in the world. They invest in tech. So when SoftBank invests in anything, everybody gets on board, like herd mentality, right? Like if Buffett or like Nancy Pelosi invests somewhere, everyone's going to get in because it only goes up. And negotiating out there in public. Imagine you went to the mall with your wife and there was cameras there. And all of a sudden she was like, Jesse, you really love me, right? Let's spend twice as much. And you're looking at reporters like, Okay. Okay.
She's a good negotiator.
Yeah, she's a good negotiator. That was really funny. And then he grabbed him here and brought him in like he was 6 years old. It's kind of like, remember when Tampa Bay all of a sudden signed Tom Brady, Dana?
I do remember that.
And then all of a sudden, all the free agents started flocking to the Bucs because they want to be next to Tom Brady. They want a ring. That's what's happening with SoftBank. It's great PR strategy, and it happened during the tax cuts in 2018. Do you remember back then after he signed the Trump tax cuts, and then all of these corporations start making these announcements that they're going to give bonuses? And they're like, I'm going to give a bonus to every employee. Oh, my cash bonus is going to be twice as much. And it was just great PR and great momentum. And this is what you're seeing here. I remember I gave my kids an allowance adjustment. I don't know if you guys saw the press release, but it's great. And to have Biden, who hasn't done a press conference since July 11th.
Wow.
Where he lied and said he was going to stay in.
Yeah.
And see, this guy, you remember why Howard Stern said he's the best interview? Because he answers everything. And it's not just because he has convictions and confidence. He has respect for the people.
And President Trump said a line that I think people have kind of gotten around to, but he nailed it when he said, my first term, everyone was fighting me. And this term, everyone wants to be my friend, Harold. So you do see a lot of business people saying, OK, let's get on board.
Without doubt. First of all, it's good to be back around the table.
Oh, yes.
Hope everybody had a great
Happy
time. I think Jesse nailed it. I think you're right. I think this president, one of the strengths of President Trump was what he showed there in that press conference. To take whatever it was, 30 questions, 40 questions. I listened to a lot of it. I didn't see it. It was in a car, so I was listening on radio. I thought his best answer was one of the ones we played where they asked him, I think it's really a metaphor for the way that he kind of conducts himself. When they ask him, are you thinking about preemptive strikes towards Iran? And he said, well, that's a dumb question. If I am thinking about it, why would I tell you I'm thinking about preemptive strikes? And if I'm not thinking about it, why would I tell you? I think the country got another taste of what it was like 8 years ago when he was president, for those who are 4 to 8 years ago. And this press conference here, and starting it off with the SoftBank CEO, was as bold, I think, and as smart a way to do it. It reminded me of the great Michael Deaver working for President Reagan. The backdrop is always really strong, even if you have it on mute. I know sometimes people tell me not to watch things on mute, but if you watch this on mute, this was as powerful as it was listening to. It might even been more powerful because I think the president is also entertaining in his talk and the way he talks about things. But you're right, Dana. The press is going to have to get ready because this guy is going to give a press conference every day on every issue.
Energy and excitement. And I think one of the things that he did today on a Monday morning was say, all right, I've got this momentum. How do I keep it going? Give me the ball I can run through.
Yep. And I mean, when you think about how many days, what is it, 36 days before he takes office? Is it something like that? Anyway, he is so energized. He is so organized. He's got, all of these nominations. And he comes out and he says, this is going to be the golden age of America. And then he starts with this guy from SoftBank with $100 billion, promising 100,000 new jobs for Americans. I mean, you realize that he has the capacity to deliver. He has the capacity to unite the country. He has the capacity, to unite the party. And I don't think there's any greater example of that than there was at the Army-Navy game. Because it's not just the Army-Navy game, when they went crazy with chants of USA, USA, but think about who he was in that box with. He's got Elon and J.D. Vance, and he's got Vivek and Mike Johnson and Danny Penny, and he's got all of these people to show that the Republican Party is united. No more rhinos. You're a rhino. Get lost. You don't matter anymore. What he's got is a united party, a united country. And then you got a guy like Van Jones who says, hey, dude, this guy's smarter than me and you. So you've not got the left saying this guy is really smart. He's going to deliver for us. And then we no longer have to deal with the frustration of Joe Biden turning his bobbing head and just, making a turnaround with a sarcastic smile and not answering questions. It was insulting to all of us. So I'm very excited about all of this. I think it's going to be great. And I think the fear mongering, if the left decides they want to get started, I think it's just going to be, outweighed by the support that the left has, because the left wants safety, they want jobs, they want security, and it's something that we all want.
He's going to have to deliver on that.
Kat, the
Democrats, he will.
The Democrats seem like they're in like an endless game of bumper cars since the election. Like they just keep hitting each other. They can't they can't actually get any momentum. They're stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you watch something like this, and it's impossible to ignore how differently you feel just as a human being watching that versus watching Biden have a press conference. Because I think regardless of politics, when we would ever watch Joe Biden speak, you'd be holding your breath a little bit. You'd be kind of waiting for the thing where you're like, okay, he made it through that one. And how different is that from the way that Trump handled this? I also agree. What an answer to that Iran question, Harold. I mean, kind of like, why would I answer that? Could you imagine? He said, could you imagine if I answered that? And I was left feeling, I wonder how that reporter feels after asking that question. And you can compare that to whenever Biden was done speaking, I would think his poor PR team sometimes. I'd be like, how are they going to address this thing that made no sense, that thing that made no sense? But also in the previous iteration of Trump, there'd be a lot of times, I think, where I would be thinking also, oh no, his poor PR team. Yeah. But I didn't think that. When I was watching this, some of it was some fun, good, ribbing, but none of it was, it was fun to watch. And that's, I think, what Republicans had this time around, the Democrats didn't. Democrats was a lot of gloom and doom, and Republicans seemed to just be having a good time. And watching this, he seemed to be having a good time.
And the thing with the Iran question, there's a way to ask that you wouldn't be admonished like that.
Yeah.
Like if the reporter had said, "Do you believe do you believe Israel has the right to defend itself from nuclear weapons?"
Yeah.
Okay. Now he still might have said, "I'm not answering that because I know what you're trying to get at," but still, there's a way to not be admonished in front of the world.
Yeah.
If you care about those things.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.